his favorite vase.
She always says don't play ball in the house.
Pork chops and applesauce. That's swell.
Marcia, Marcia, Marcia. Hey, you guys. Oh, my nose!
Welcome to Here's the Story, a Brady Bunch podcast. Hey, I'm not going to tear this thing apart. It's my favorite show. Episode 18, Tiger, Tiger.
Tiger, Tiger, uppercut.
We start this episode with Bobby playing with Tiger in the yard, with the AstroTurf-covered section of the studio floor. Alice calls him in to pour food into Tiger's bowl, and when he goes back out, Tiger is missing. Mike is gearing up to play golf while the family searches the neighborhood for Tiger, and Bobby asks his dad if he would go play golf if he was missing. Isn't Tiger a part of the family? Didn't you have him longer than me? Well, then how can you go play golf? This tactic works. The next scene is Mike and Bobby in the car. They've just returned from combing the neighborhood themselves, and we get a very obvious and deliberate close-up shot of Mike unbuckling his lap belt. I'd forgotten that back then the driver's seat belt didn't have a shoulder strap. That's a good way to torch and whip your face into the steering wheel. Bobby is so disappointed that they didn't find Tiger, so Mike has him assist in writing up a reward ad to run in the newspaper. Scene by scene, we get to see each family member chip in some cash for the reward. The total comes to $42.76, which, if adjusted for inflation from 1970 to 2021, would be $293.41, almost $300. That seems realistic. It also seems realistic to think that if someone found Tiger, they wouldn't really take the reward. We get a return of Marcia's limp mannequin arms that I was beginning to miss, and a good amount of humor mixed into the drama in a nice, even pace. Mike Lookinland's performance is perfection, and he deserved to get an episode resting completely on his shoulders. Next, we get a well-intentioned Alice putting Mike and Carol on guard that there has been a rash of burglaries in the neighborhood, and Tiger may have possibly been lured away so that their house could be broken into at night. Greg and Peter overhear that conversation from the other room and make plans to prepare for a burglary. Not only do I seem to remember a lot of Flintstones episodes with this premise, but I kind of think that there were so many shows written about house burglaries while the family sleeps that I grew up thinking that whenever you go to sleep, people are likely in your living room taking your TV. And maybe that's how I got into the habit of sleeping on the living room couch with the TV on. Bobby, for his part, is sleeping in the yard in front of the doghouse. Mike finds him out there and listens to his son give such a heartfelt little speech. I almost expected Mike to roll out a sleeping bag next to him. But instead he gets Bobby off to bed, and when he leaves their room, Greg and Peter spring to action. They start booby-trapping the house. Not Home Alone style, mind you. Nothing that would maim a person. No, just empty cans above the doors. Alice hears the rattling and goes to investigate. Carol hears the rattling and sends Mike to go investigate. Greg and Peter see Alice's silhouette and grab a baseball bat. Mike sees them with that bat and takes it from them to go after the silhouette. Alice pulls the cans down on top of her head and starts to scream like a banshee, while Mike rushes in and bashes in her skull. No, Carol flipped the lights on just in time. No one was injured. It's the next day, and with the reward in the paper, we get a succession of people calling and showing up with dogs that aren't Tiger. Then we get Bobby in his room looking at a framed photo of the dog that he keeps on his desk. Carol comes in to talk to him, and he gives a line delivery with almost no voice. That wasn't a kid actor saying dialogue from a script. That was real sadness. You know, he was also the only one that kept a framed photo of his late mother. He may be the most sentimental of the Bradys. I like this kid. You know, I actually got to meet him and Susan Olsen, Cindy, at a convention with my daughter. Not only did I get a chance to tell them that the Brady Bunch was my favorite show, but they may have been the first people I met at a convention that my daughter didn't refer to as random old people. Just then, Greg gets a call from his friend, Steve Miller. Some call him the Space Cowboy. Some call him the Gangster of Love. Anyway, he saw Tiger for real, and the family rushes out to track him down. We even get a couple of scenes of Mike and Carol running. I love to see when adults are forced to run. Then we get shots of various family members calling home from different styles of payphones from around the city, with Carol and Alice coordinating their search on a paper map at home. like a real old school detective caper. I love this kind of stuff. Well, they find Tiger at some lady's house. As they pull up in her driveway, we get another deliberate close-up shot of a lap belt being unbuckled. This time it's Bobby's. This was to promote new safety belt laws being enacted throughout the country at the time. I remember how wearing a seatbelt wasn't the law when I was a kid. In fact, the idea of safety in any form was generally frowned upon. Anyway, Tiger is here because it turns out that he is a father to a whole gaggle of new puppies that are with their mother dog owned by this lady. For those of you keeping track, I mentioned in an earlier episode that there were 5 tigers. Tiger 1 ran across the wedding guest's lap in the series pilot. Tiger 2 was in the rest of the scenes, plus Kitty Carryall is missing, and the first half of Kachoo, until he was run over during filming. Tiger 3 finished out that episode, was in Alice Doesn't Live Here Anymore, and Every Boy Does It Once, and this episode features a 4th tiger in his only appearance. Tiger 5 will be in 3 episodes in the middle of Season 2, and then go on to film with Don Johnson. They never showed Tiger again after that. This episode ends with Bobby shaking Tiger's paw in congratulations, and pouring him a new bowl of food for the whole new doggy family. Until next time!
Some people call me the space cowboy.
Tiger knee.